This all happened last year when I finally established that my mom was being cheated on by my dad. Until this day, my mom and I can't confront him about it. I've done multiple attempts to coax him into telling the truth, but he will just lie. Even if you're his parent, close friend, wife, boss, it doesn't matter, he will lie and it frustrates me. I also want to clarify some things before I tell my story. He's in the military, so he's always out of the country working, and he's currently working in Bahrain, so it makes things harder to truly catch him in the act. Since this has been happening for a long time, new information might come in by the time I post this. This post is something I took my time and rewrote what I wanted to say because this is a secret that made me feel like my whole life was a lie. If you decide to continue reading till the end, please comment on what I can do to end this once and for all. Of course, the immediate answer would be divorce, but currently it's not easy for us, so please bear with me as I share my story. A 19-year-old female, is currently living in a toxic environment with my struggling mother in her 40s and two younger sisters. This started happening when I was 18 in 2022. One day, my mom told me not to talk to my dad anymore because she kept telling me and my siblings every day that my dad was cheating. At one point, my mom wanted to set up a FaceTime call in front of me and my siblings, so she could force my dad to tell us the truth about his affairs, but he was silent the whole time. That left me confused and suspicious, and at first I wanted to deny it because I thought my mom was being dramatic, but also because I thought my dad wouldn't be that kind of person. It was an on and off situation where it often left me confused and frustrated. My mother kept reminding my siblings and I that my dad was apparently a cheater without showing any proof until I finally went to college. Now that I'm a bit older, my mom was finally able to open up to me on the proof she tried to gather. One of the first things she showed me was an anonymous text from someone in 2021 claiming that my dad was cheating on my mom. At the time, for some reason, I didn't think much of it, but the more I'm digesting this information, it was crucial evidence that would lead up to this very moment of my current situation. Slowly but surely, she confessed how she caught my dad cheating on her the first time back in 2011, which was a long time ago. She told me she forgave him then, but apparently he hooked up with another girl in 2013 when he went to Seattle, for which I assumed it was for work. And then he kept seeing other women till this very day. Still, no matter how much I wanted to deny it, the evidence she presented to me was becoming more evident. Well, the evidence that my mom showed me are just women that my dad apparently hooked up with, but there were no pictures with my dad in it. There was one picture that was taken that looked like my dad and one of the girls he hooked up with him kissing her cheek, but there was a black and white sketch-like filter over it, so it was kind of hard to tell if it was really my dad, but it looked like him. But what really made the accusations more convincing is the change in my dad's attitude when it comes to the topic of cheating, which made me refer to the FaceTime call from that time ago. His past affairs are further proof that the anonymous text sent to my mother confirms that he is cheating with another woman. With these confessions, it made me want to avoid my dad through FaceTime and text. 3 months ago, my dad visited us for a week during Thanksgiving break. It was awkward, of course. I was having conflicting feelings when it came to interacting with him because I was the only daughter that truly knew what he was doing to hurt our family while my other sisters were unaware. They were aware of the accusations, but not sure if they're actually true. I'm sure my dad knows that I know, but he also wants to pretend that nothing is happening. One of the first things I noticed when he came back was his phone. He had a privacy screen protector and a longer password in the lock screen. I'm pretty sure all the stuff he's hiding comes from that device, and because of that I regret not attempting to unlock it. However, this is one of the first signs that confirms my suspicions. This was planned a week prior. My mom and I discussed how we're going to confront him about what was happening. However, she forced me to do it instead, and it already created a lot of pressure for me. At first I was pissed because she's the one who wanted to expose my dad for being a cheater, so she's the one who's supposed to initiate the conversation. Still, I finally stepped in, but I already broke down crying in front of him because I knew the question I was going to ask would turn out to be true. "Did you cheat on mommy? Just tell me the truth, I won't get mad, I promise." "Yes, I did." "Oh God," he proceeded to tell me. Then it was only one time, and he was referring to when my mom caught him cheating the first time around 2011. He didn't admit to anything else. I asked him if he was still cheating and told him to promise me that he wasn't. In a heartfelt moment, in an emotional and comforting tone, he swore to me he wasn't cheating again. At the time, I believed him. The only hard evidence that he might be actually cheating was the anonymous message, but when I talked to him about it, he said it was someone that was jealous of my family. Of course, I didn't believe him. There has to be a greater motive as to why she did it. Before he left to go back, he was given permission to stay longer if he needed to. My mom wanted him to stay longer, but I thought it was more appropriate that he visits during the week of Christmas since my sisters and I are on break from school at the time. However, when he left, he told my mom that he couldn't come home for Christmas. Of course, my mom didn't believe it, so we made up a lie and texted him that we would be coming to him instead. But because we lied to him saying that we were going to Bahrain, he didn't like the idea, so he backtracked to say that he was coming home for Christmas. This is another sign, in real time, that he's hiding something over there and lied again. 2 months ago, he finally came back home to visit for Christmas. At that point, I had to endure my anger, disappointment, resentment, and sadness just to spend my time with him, and of course he pretended like nothing happened. Somehow, I couldn't bring myself to fully express how I felt towards him because he was still my dad. During the week of Christmas, he spoiled my sisters and I by buying us what we wanted and cooking his famous barbecue multiple times. He even bought me a laptop for my college that I requested. How can I completely resent him after that? So out of pity and the remaining amount of love I have for him, I bought him a mug that says "Best Farter Father." I thought it was light-hearted and funny, even though it wasn't completely true. He liked it, he didn't show any distaste in it. When it was finally time for him to leave, he didn't bring the mug with him. After my dad left, my mom informed me that she briefly went through my dad's phone and saw the text message between him and his current girlfriend with her saying she misses him and wants him to come back. She didn't take a picture of the conversation, but I believed her since she would frequently go through his phone even before I found out he was cheating. This would lead to my mom confessing another secret that made me regret buying that mug for him. This is something that would completely change how I see him as a father and a husband. I assumed my mom finally had the courage to bring it up because not only does it disrespect her and her commitment to him, but it also disrespects me and my younger siblings. He has another daughter. Just as I thought things couldn't get any worse, I really wanted to deny it so bad. My mom showed proof by showing me my dad's secret Facebook account. One of the features of the app is how you can see the person's previous profile pictures they set in the past. One of them is my half-sister, and he put her as his profile picture before. Who's the woman that got pregnant with my dad's child, you may ask? It was his ex-girlfriend, the woman that he hooked up with when he went on a business trip to Seattle. My mom at the time just had her third child, Aka, my youngest sister. This ended up being the last straw for me. Throughout these past few months, I was becoming more distant and out of touch with him. When I was forced to speak with him, I endured the pain so I could give him awkward smiles. Deep down, it was my way of coping while being in denial. When growing up, I wasn't allowed to show how frustrated I was at the given situation since it was deemed disrespectful. But because I bottled up my emotions, it made me more angry at myself and others, so I would frequently fight with my mom. It made me think about how she didn't get a divorce the moment she caught him cheating the first time. All of this has only been discussed to me and not my other siblings because my mom didn't want to hurt them. But honestly, in my opinion, it's just hurting them more from not telling the truth. I would know because I am hurt knowing that my entire life felt like a lie. I felt deceived. If I was told the truth long ago, then future me wouldn't be as upset because I would get over it in due time. As for the reason why my mom wouldn't get a divorce yet is because she doesn't have a job. Since she didn't finish college and had me, she barely has any job experience. For all these years, she only relied on my dad to provide a source of income, only for him to also cheat in the process. Not only that, but my mom was also recently diagnosed with diabetes. For months, she also was struggling with that and needed to rely on my dad's health insurance for it and still does today. And because she has diabetes, she feels like she's unable to work with her condition because she gets anxiety easily. I know the alternative solution would be me finding a job instead, and I'm doing my best to find one. Even if I have a job, it would be only part-time because I'm still attending college to get my degree. It wouldn't be enough for us to cover 99% of expenses without my dad, especially affording the current house we have or will be having to move to a new one. There might be some circumstances where my dad still can provide for us even though my parents are divorced, especially when my sisters are still young. However, I have no knowledge on what can work or can't work when a family is separated. Right now, I don't want to talk to him at all, but all I want is for him to tell the truth and then I'll finally move past that. Before I completely stopped talking to him, he kept avoiding my questions on whether or not he's cheating. If he did answer, he would lie to me. I don't know why I keep trying to ask him for the truth. Maybe I just want some closure so I can make my final decision on whether to resent him or not. But right now my main concern is how to approach the situation so my mom can finally divorce him once and for all. I would make this post longer, but I didn't want to keep rambling on since the rest of it is just me venting and other personal family problems. TLDR, my dad has been cheating on different women for the past decade to the point where he has another child without me knowing. My mom can't get a divorce since she relies on my dad and doesn't have a job because she has diabetes. I don't know what to do, so I'm asking for help. Story 2. I've been pondering for days how to even begin to explain what has happened and where things stand. I owed it to those that have given me good advice since my screw-up to give an update. But just writing out what has happened and all the details and drama would take way too long. Our lawyers began corresponding. My SDBXWS side kept requesting she and I talk, and I kept saying no. Our side tried pushing the negotiations and get the ball rolling on our side. Every time the house and property got mentioned, my lawyer felt they were acting twitchy, whatever that means. But they still wanted to meet face to face and talk, saying it was very important for both of our futures going forward apart or together. I still wanted to say no, but my lawyer pretty much told me I'll have to see her in court eventually and we should meet. They knew we had infidelity evidence and what it was but hadn't seen it. My lawyer wanted to know exactly what they would say and angle they were playing. I just didn't want to see her or hear her voice. They weren't willing to do a group text, so we met. We met in a conference room at my lawyer's office. I was seated when my wife and her lawyer came in. I wanted my gaze to convey a touch of hate with ample disgust thrown in. She started crying and walking toward me, so apparently it didn't work. I told her to back the F up, which made her cry harder. I began moving back and away from her, which got her to stop coming forward. I'll spare everybody the specifics, but I pretty much cursed her out worse than any human has been cursed out. Before that fateful night, she'd never heard me yell at her. Before that day in the conference room, I'd never cursed at her, not even that horrible night. I let it all out. Every vile thing I had thought about her, every horrible thing I believed about her, and everything I wished would happen to her. Her lawyer was really shocked, mine was just a little shocked, but I told him to expect it when he agreed to the meeting. My wife finally grasped I meant every word and hated her for what she'd done to us, what she'd done to me. Before the meeting ever started, we had to take a 30-minute break to calm down. When we actually did meet, my wife had a request to speak to me without interruption. I couldn't give a word-for-word account of what she said if I tried, so I won't. She started out saying she was extremely sorry for everything that has happened. She wished I would talk to her or answer her texts, but accepted that wasn't going to happen after what I said earlier. Then she went straight into telling me the land we own could be worth a huge amount of money in the not-too-distant future. Apparently, a company I will not name, but everyone has heard of might want to purchase a huge amount of land to build on. The deal would be conditional on getting other landowners to sell. And I'm talking about a ton of acreage that the company would be buying up. Our land is in a zone of the country, X number of miles from a power station, X miles from a major highway, airport, water source, etc. It fits all of their qualifications. Then she said we really need to discuss the land because she can't sell it without me. That is when I stopped her. I said, "But you could have if I'd gone to prison, couldn't you?" It wasn't a question. I knew the answer from her lawyer's expression. Then she came out saying she told Marcus not to press charges. F me running, I wanted to hit someone, but I can't hit a woman and my lawyer would sue me. I didn't care they kept communicating after that night, but it still pissed me off. She said they had to stay in contact because he was the person behind the attempted sale. As the agent, he stands to make a mint. As the owners, we stand to make more. He has government and real estate connections stretching far and wide because of his parents' careers. But when he saw the opportunity to remove me from the equation, he took it. He never showed up anywhere naked. He had clothes in his car, but I didn't know. The cops got a very different story than what actually happened. But I'm not surprised. When I got charged, my wife claimed she wouldn't testify, but she couldn't get me to respond to her. She claimed she was glad I got the charges dropped. That was when I asked if she was glad before she found out I had recorded her and Marcus. She didn't answer. I let her and her lawyer see the footage I'd taken by passing them my phone. I don't think my lawyer wanted me showing it. But they knew it existed, and I couldn't show it to anyone else yet. I told her that Marcus' wife would see that footage eventually. That's when she told me doing so would be losing out on a ton of money I'd never earn working my job. I asked if that was why she cheated, money, greed. ISH not, she actually told me she cheated for us. The argument that ensued over that comment alone went on for over an hour. We took a lunch break, and I went off to eat alone for an hour just to get away from everyone. In one very odd way, she'd given me good news, but it was gift wrapped in SH. The lawyers loved hearing of the potential sale of land. They knew we'd find out about it eventually, and any potential immediate sale I would have to agree to, so they spilled. I can nix the whole deal if I choose to. It won't cost Marcus a cent yet, but it would keep me from making a lot of money. But I can't make a lot of money unless my SDBXW makes a lot of money too. When I went back to the meeting, my wife pretty much explained how all of this got started. She was doing one of those parade of homes showings. Marcus' agency was showing 2 of the homes. They knew who each other were from traveling in the same circles, but he approached her and asked if we were happy living where we were. From there, he explained he knew an agent specialized in business/manufacturing sites. He explained his idea, and I guess she saw dollar signs. Marcus, a trusted pose in our area, could probably buy up the land from locals much easier than someone they never met. The 2 agents working together could easily buy low and sell high. The deal couldn't be made without us due to the positioning of our land. Marcus and my wife got involved talking to locals and planning things out. Then they got involved physically. So 6 months before I knew my marriage had ended, it ended. She swore the two of them just got caught up in their excitement over the money. She said it didn't mean anything, it was just sex. I wanted to try and break my recent world cursing record, but I tried to not explode. I asked if she and that POS had used condoms. She said they did at first, but because she was on the pill well. 6 days, 6 effing days. I shouted before calling her a disgusting, worthless WH. She asked what I was talking about, so I proceeded to explain that when a man orgasms inside a woman, that's how long jizz can stay inside her. I really wanted to vomit thinking about what she subjected me to. I asked how she'd like me go to a prostitute, stick my fingers inside, and then put them in her mouth. Yes, it's disgusting, but it's the equivalent of what SHE did. She tried to claim she took showers. I told her unless she was able to stand on her head, spread her legs to rinse out, she's a nasty SL. And she wondered why I look at her with a revolted expression. It's because I'm revolted. She's disgusting and subjected me against my will to SH I don't even want to think about. That isn't even taking into consideration things she did with her mouth. Marcus can have the tramp, she's infected with his scuzz now. But I had to get out of there. I was no more good for the rest of the day. I went and got drunk for the first time since my after party at my dad's cabin. Part of me should be really happy, and I am. I know if things work out, I'll be able to pay my lawyers in full, repay my parents tenfold, and have a huge amount of money to start over almost anywhere. But the BS I've had to agree to in order to get that money makes me sicker than my wife. 3 damn lawyers wrote up an agreement. Our 2 lawyers wrote up an even split divorce. We cannot divorce until the land sells or the deal falls through, but the divorce will go through and my marriage is over. It isn't like I'm in some hurry to be single so I can marry again. I effing ghosted her really well despite my unfortunate marriage status. It isn't like I have to see or talk to the immoral Jezebel. But it does bother me to still have any tie with her in any way. I cannot contact Marcus' wife, not now or in the future. I cannot show the footage of my wife to her parents or family. But she has told them we are divorcing and did admit to having an affair. Either way, I got my job back and start next week at a new site. There's talk of having the charges Marcus brought against me sealed from record or something. But my record is clean, thank God. I'm still coming to grips with her excuses and her attitude about those excuses. Granted, I would be gone 10 days at a time. At no point did I suspect anything, and our sex life remained constant. I wish it hadn't now. At least the poor SOBs in dead bedrooms don't have to worry about swapping spit with a stranger. Her putting her tongue in his mouth or anywhere else, and kissing me was the equivalent of letting a stranger spit in my mouth against my will. But sick, cheating trash like my wife and Marcus don't seem to grasp that. I can only imagine Marcus' sex life with his wife continued during the affair. I really do wonder if she has any idea she went down on my wife by proxy at some point. Knowing what I know now, I'm glad I punched Marcus in the mouth. Still glad I didn't kill them or myself, but they are both disgusting. Like a hobo's ass in an alley on a pile of garbage nasty. Humans just disgust me now. How she could willingly give her body to 2 different men back and forth is beyond my comprehension. I had many opportunities to cheat over the years but didn't for many reasons, loyalty being first and foremost. But the idea of F-ing someone I don't know, who could have just been with any number of other people very recently, that's just insane. Condoms be damned, those things break and don't protect from everything. There really is no safe sex except monogamy, but it only works when both people are faithful and haven't F-ed half the East Coast. I could have come out far, far worse than I should if things go right, but we're definitely looking at next year before things can get rolling. I'll work like I've done for years, but I won't have any place to come home to. She can stay in the house until the sale and pays all costs. The house will be demolished so nobody will live there after the sale. The majority of our land is undeveloped. There is no way in hell to move the house out and miles away. When I'm needed to sign paperwork, I'll be given notice and I'll show up to sign. Then our roads part ways faster than my wife's legs for a $100 bill, and I can move on with cash in hand. But she ruined me. And it's not effing fair. She cheapened me just by being associated with me. She revealed truth I didn't want to know. Because it all goes back to the first comment on my very first post. I know not every woman is like my wife. I can vouch and say not every guy is a pose like Marcus. But I'll be damned if those people don't F it up for the rest of us. Why does it seem two loyal people with a great bond never meet? Almost every post on here is a nice guy / great girl who got involved with a whore / man whore and the consequences of that bad decision. Forget being able to trust again. I can't get past the idea of ever wanting to trust anyone like that again. Nobody is worth what she put me through. And she sure as hell wasn't. It pisses me off he's going to get away with it. I guess the world will have to wait and see if karma can scare him like I did. I can't really see any reason for another update. She and I will divorce. Money will be deposited in my account and her account. And I will never see or speak to her again. That's how it will end either way. It's just on hold indefinitely. I want to thank those that gave me advice, told me to keep my mouth shut, and urged me to get lawyers. To those that told me to stay strong, I appreciate you. To those that felt I should eat a bullet, go eat a hobo, I will wait a day or two after posting to respond to a few comments, then I'll probably fade away. I wish healing for all of you who have been cheated on, just as I wish it upon myself. Until then. Final edit, this will be my last comment to the thread. I appreciate those that have had my back. I also appreciate the people that gave me a kick in the ass. To the haters, I support your right to do so. Just know I won't be losing any sleep over it. As things stand right now, an April or May sale of the land is most likely. The industrial real estate agent has cleared a lot of the hurdles the company would have to jump through to buy the land. No idea on when clearing and building would start, but I will have my money by that time and won't care. So it is fast-tracked as much as can possibly be done. My wife still calls or texts occasionally, but I don't answer / read or respond. I don't believe she gives a damn about me, nor did she ever. Just giving your body to random people for their gratification is something alien to me. The fact she has the ability to do that with her body disgusts me, and I want no part of her or anyone like her. The fact I value her body more than she actually does truly saddens me. But whatever. I'm done with relationships anyway. There is no way in hell I could bring a child into this world with any woman due to my wife's actions. I do want kids, but after the land sale, I may in fact go the surrogate route. After her infidelity, the only thing my wife could possibly bring to the table is children. Women don't need men for kids now, and I sure don't need another unfaithful, disloyal wife to do it. And at least I'll know my children are being raised morally and ethically. My ex-wife has neither of those things. And with her actions, she proved she can never be a good wife. She proved she would be a horrible mother. God help any child that WH brings to this world.